Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. I got back from the cinema not too long ago. I'm catching up on an interesting film release that popped up on my radar about 3 weeks ago. Of course, I'm talking about Talk to Me. This is an Australian supernatural horror film, who seems to have garnered a decent amount of hype recently. And this also happens to be a directorial debut from past YouTubers called Raka Raka. I've actually never personally heard of them before, but they seem to be making waves. Indeed, at least enough waves to catch the eye of none other than A24. Yeah, those guys seem to have the Midas touch of finding really interesting new talent. Already a few times on this channel, I very positively reviewed some of their new directorial debuts that they put out, like After Sun, or even most recently, Past Lives. And indeed, Talk to Me seems to have this potential of being yet another one of those little jewels in the crown of A24's growing collection. In any case, it's a relatively small film that has a humble budget of $4.5 million, and it seems to be doing well enough that even a sequel has already been greenlit, so good on them. As I'm sure you can tell, there are no shortage of interesting reasons to be intrigued by this film. And the plot is no less enthralling. Essentially, this is a film about a bunch of youngsters who are more or less 18 years old. They are wild and while they're young, and they're just partying the whole time. Essentially doing all the things parents don't want their kids to be doing. In any case, someone has this weird hand artifact. It looks like this severed hand statue made of clay that's completely covered in writing and scribbles. It looks like something between like this really weird fucked up arcane tattoo or like graffiti. In any case, it looks ominous as hell. And of course the kids should clue in and know better that, hey, we should probably stay way away from this thing, but of course that doesn't happen. Essentially, you grasp the hand, you speak the correct phrase, essentially working as a keyword, and that person will then become possessed by some spirit. I won't go into any further details to avoid spoilers, but as you can imagine, things get completely out of control in ways that I don't think you'll see coming. I had no real expectations going into this film. I just thought, oh, this seems like an interesting creative talent at work, especially with A24 producing it. But man, oh man, this film feels like a bad trip on drugs. And if bad vibes don't just stop with the horror, a lot of the characters are kind of deplorable. There's some real scumbags in this film. And that's not to denigrate the actors. In fact, I think they did a great job. Indeed, it makes tensions even higher than they were before. And frankly, I think the casting is quite solid overall. There's no one who feels out of place. Everyone really buys into their role, and I feel immersed in it. But I think the acting highlight has to go to Miranda Otto, which made a surprise appearance for me. I haven't seen her in quite a while. In fact, I think the last film I can think of is Lord of the Rings, where she played Eowyn. In any case, in this film, she exudes this righteous strength. She plays the mother of some of the kids at the party, and the few moments that she does have on screen, every one of her words just strikes like lightning. Yeah, it was quite a strong performance, and once again, it was just so nice to see her again on screen after all this time. But the supreme highlight of the film is the atmosphere and the quality of the horror. It just swallowed everything up, and I was completely immersed in this world. I think what I find most remarkable about this style of horror is that there are no jump scares. It's a kind of horror that literally just grabs hold of you. I mean that literally and figuratively. And this, of course, is in large part thanks to the supremely creative cinematography. There's top-notch lighting to be found in this film. Aesthetically, it's crisp, and there are several startling camera moments that mimic this feeling of being possessed. And the tension is nigh on unbearable. In fact, I actually had to leave the theater like 30 minutes early. The film has a relatively short runtime of 94 minutes, but by God, that felt like the longest hour of my life. I think back on it, and this is literally the one and only time I've ever walked out on any film ever. So I just want to take a moment and highlight the fact that I didn't leave the theater because I thought the film was bad. The opposite. I loved so much of what I was seeing, but it was just too goddamn effective as a horror film. And I don't seem to be alone in feeling this way. We had a full house at the cinema tonight, which is always nice to see, by the way. I'm happy to see that people came out to see it. Everyone, and I do mean everyone, was on the edge of their seat, just ready to jump out and just shocked by everything that was happening. Myself included, by the way. I was squirming in my seat nonstop like a nun at Sunday church. So, yeah. I'm kicking myself for not having the guts to finish this film. Once again, I've never done that before, and I don't plan on making a habit of doing so. But fuck it, I'll bear this cross. I think this is a terrifying film. And I just want to say that it's not like I'm a pushover when it comes to horror content. Not that I'm the most courageous guy out there, far from it, but I've gone through the real Silent Hill experience. Just saying, for whatever reason, Talk to Me really struck a chord tonight. I may have missed out on the final act of the film, but what I saw was plenty, Thank you, goodbye. I've had enough for one night. I will happily finish this film at a later date once I've managed to calm down. I literally left the film feeling jittery. It was such a surreal experience seeing sunlight again. I literally had to walk it off for like half an hour before I could just shake off the bad juju from my shoulders. Fuck me. I'm gonna give this film a rock solid 8.5 out of 10. I guess Halloween's come early this year. Not gonna lie, this film has me fucked up to damn. Alright, that's enough for now. I'm gonna try and go get some sleep. As always, wishing you and your loved ones nothing but the best. Take care. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good nights, sweet dreams, and take care. I'll talk to you soon. Hello, hello, hello. So I kind of redeemed myself. I just couldn't sleep at night knowing that I actually walked out on a movie for the first time in my life. So I went back to see Talk to Me, and I wasn't alone this time. My buddy Jesus and his girlfriend came along, and honestly, we all loved the film. So yeah, my score still stands. It's great and super effective horror film. I made it through this time around, still super uncomfortable. And once again, another night where the whole theater room is almost completely filled with people, and everyone was squirming in their seats once again. Yeah, this is a super effective horror film. If there's anything additional that I want to add, since the last time I saw the film, I think the three of us agree that one of the things that makes the horror so startling is that it kind of lowers your defenses in several ways, which I don't want to spoil too much, but there is some integration of comedy in kind of surprising ways that opens your guard for a shock to come in. But once again, they're not jump scares. It's a really interesting kind of horror that always seems to reinvent itself. Once again, not going to go too much in detail, but yeah, super effective horror film. And another one of the prime reasons why it's so effective is the sound design, which is something I actually didn't talk about in my original recording. Very interesting sound textures that are used in this film to great effect. Even just the first scene when we see that hand that was just placed on the table, it sounded like just an obelisk that was just being dropped onto the world. Yeah, awesome movie, definitely standing by with that 8.5 out of 10 score. Once again, a surprise horror hit that I don't think anyone saw coming. I highly recommend it.